we get it rolling on the Krueg Show. Hope everybody's having a phenomenal Tuesday, May the 2nd. Larry Krueger joined by Damon Bruce. That's right, another edition of the Home and Home. And we're brought to you, of course, the Krueg Show is always brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. Check them out in Corte Madera and in Emeryville. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in Northern California, sponsors the Krueg Show, as does New York Style Italian Sausage. Thanks to them as well, as and Telmetrics as well. Damon, good to see you tonight. We get
Good
it.
to see you.
Warriors, Lakers, game one. LeBron James against Steph Curry. Man, I can't wait. I cannot wait for this one. It's going to be great.
How much differently do NBA executives feel about their playoffs than NHL executives feel, who watch the Bruins get bounced, the New York Rangers get bounced? I mean, everyone that's a big brand is gone, and now the two biggest brands in the NBA are going at it. And it's even bigger than just Warriors-Lakers. It is LeBron versus Steph. It's two of the all-time greats. It is a Lakers team that probably can't believe that it wakes up every day less valuable than the Golden State Warriors are right now. So this is a rivalry, no matter how you want to look at it. I mean, from a business standpoint, profile standpoint, player standpoint, historical, mano-a-mano battle between Curry and LeBron James. It's an A-plus setup, and it should be a phenomenal series.
Well, and I was looking at some of the prop bets because to me, if you want to get a handle on a series, especially NBA playoffs, you can read the game previews, but this is a star league and it's about individual stars and their trends seem to supersede even the team trends. And the one that I read today that I thought was really interesting, tell me what you think of this. There's the over-under on LeBron's assists tonight, and they've listed it at 4.5. And I'm on the Action Network, and they're saying go with the over on 4.5 assists. Now, pretty interesting. In the regular season, Damon, LeBron averaged almost 7 assists per game, 6.8 in 35 minutes of action. It was second on the team behind D'Lo, and so tonight's game against the Warriors, this is the first matchup of the best of 7. His first matchup of the best of 7 series against the Warriors, but him and Steph Curry have gone head to head before, and LeBron has recorded 5 or more assists in 12 straight game ones to open a series. So that's it sounds like his game one persona is that let's check out how our teams are defending me. Let's kind of, take a perusal of that while at the same time getting my teammates involved early. He tries to take series over late, but not as much early. And so they kind of like the over. What are you anticipating to see tonight from LeBron as far as his total floor game? What do you think we're going to see?
Well, I would think for the Lakers to have a shot here in game one, LeBron is going to have to get someone other than himself and Anthony Davis involved. If I were betting that prop, I would take the over, Larry, because he's got to be looking for D'Angelo Russell, who he wants to get going in this series, you would think. Hachimura, who we've talked about. Austin Rivers, who we've talked about. These are guys that LeBron needs to join the party for his party to continue in this postseason. And I think he knows it, and he's going to try to establish them, although look, role players on the road are counted upon less than they are at home. So maybe there is some line value on that prop bet. I have enough trouble, just talking sports than trying to look at it through the prism of the right bet to make. But it just feels absurd to bet against LeBron doing anything in a playoff series. So 4 assists, would you say 4.5?
Yeah.
It feels like an over. It feels like an over to me.
Yeah. What do you think overall of the matchup? I mean, the Lakers have had this incredible run since the trade deadline, mostly out of necessity. I mean, they were not a playoff team when Rob Pelinka reshaped this roster. Pelinka, I've credited him many times in the second half of the year. I just think that I think he deserves the Executive of the Year award. I asked Ramona Shelburne about it. She says, no, it's going to go to Monty McNair. Okay. Kings definitely were turned around, but man, the Lakers and what Pelinka did, he added so much length and all these wing players, and it's just players that fit much better around LeBron James than the previous cast did, headlined by Russell Westbrook. What do you think of the new look?
I like to correct mistakes in real time, and somebody said, I did say Austin Rivers. I meant Austin Reeves. Pardon me.
Austin Reeves,
that is correct.
Yeah,
yes,
true.
I got that one wrong. There is an Austin Rivers, though. So.
Austin Reeves is a pretty good, yeah, there we go. They'll hold you accountable. Reeves,
hey,
Reeves.
No, let's get it right. I'm a big believer in let's get it right.
No question. What do you think, though, about this Laker matchup with the Warriors? I mean, several of these guys the Lakers picked up were players that I wanted to see the Warriors pick up. I was hoping the Warriors would get Malik Beasley. The Warriors would get Jared Vanderbilt. The Warriors might be able to turn James Wiseman into Mo Bamba, Rui Hachimura. And these guys all were guys that I thought would have been nice Golden State Warriors, and Pelinka got them all down in L.A., and they've taken off since. How do you see the matchup as far as, just the remade Lakers against this Warrior team?
Well, to me, the one guy that you did get for James Wiseman has to play a role in this series, and that is obviously, all the picks that got flipped up to Portland for Gary Payton II. He needs to go out and do some perimeter defending and also be tough on bigs. He needs to be the guy who sidles up next to him and gets in their pockets and tries to swipe at their dribbles. This is about, I think, more than anything else, this is an Andrew Wiggins series, Larry. I think Andrew Wiggins has to have a monster series defending LeBron James. And if he can do that, it allows Kevon Looney and Draymond Green to play Anthony Davis and some help side defense, honestly. And they're just going to need to bring that help side defense against Anthony Davis, who's probably going, Davis should score 25 and 8 in every single game in this series. I expect LeBron and Anthony Davis to play big numbers and put them up in every game. I really do. They're that good. They're that dialed in right now. More than anything else, the Warriors have to be able to remain honest on them while trying to shut down the rest of the team. You got two guys who definitely, if we're talking about what do the Warriors have over the Lakers, it feels funny to say depth, but I think I trust some of these Warriors in the postseason more than I trust some of these untested Lakers in the postseason. And what has not been a merit for them, the Warriors do. They need a little strength in numbers this time around. I could actually see JaMychal Green being asked to give some minutes in this series just because he's a big body. Jonathan Kuminga, who was a total afterthought in the Kings series, he might be asked to check in for just a minute or two to see how he plays. But historically, Andrew Wiggins has good games against LeBron. He gets fired up to play with him, to play him. So if the Warriors can remain honest defensively at home and then just knock down shots at the building formerly known as Staples Center, crypto.com arena, that's a tough place for the Warriors to shoot, and I really can't explain it. This has been a problem for the Warriors through good Laker teams and bad Laker teams and good Clipper teams and bad Clipper teams. It's just a building that doesn't leave them comfortable. So it's a great thing that they've got home court advantage. But this, to me, Andrew Wiggins is going to be the difference in Warriors in 6, Warriors in 5, or if he plays terribly, the Lakers win this series.
I think this series is quite a bit easier than the last series. And maybe I'm wrong. And I know the Lakers have size, but the Kings really push the pace, and they put a lot of pressure on you with how good they are offensively. And I think their youth is going to bother the Warriors more than the Lakers can. Now, that was a 6-3 matchup. The Kings were the 3, the Warriors were the 6. This is now a 6-7 matchup, and the Warriors have home court. They're not great on the road, but they don't even need to win one game on the road to win this series. I went to the ESPN breakdown of all their predictions. They have 14 different writers making predictions on this. Guess how many of the four? Did you already see this? How many of the 14
No,
picked the
I have
Warriors?
not seen it. I'm gonna split it in half. I'll say 7.
12.
Really?
12 of the 14 writers. The only people who picked the Lakers, Andre Snellings picked Lakers in 6. Dave McMenamin picked Lakers in 6. Everybody else, Mark Spears, Om Yamasuk, Ramona Shelburne, Kevin Pelton, Bobby Marks, who's probably the smartest guy on this list. Tim Legler likes Warriors in 7. Marks likes Warriors in 6. Nick Friedel says Warriors in 6. Kendra Andrews says Warriors in 6. All these series, there's money involved and it's a business. And so the league has a vested interest in seeing these series all go 7. But I think the Warriors wipe the Lakers up. I'm going to go Warriors in 5.
Well, look, for that to happen, Klay Thompson is going to have more than just a good game. He's going to have a great series, and he's certainly motivated to do so. We know where his dad sits during these games. We know that he, as a little kid, would go out and shoot with Kobe, and this is a series that Klay has been waiting for his entire career, and he doesn't have to really wait for any more things to come around in his career. He's been around the block once or twice, so this means a lot to him. I really hope that he rises to the moment. And then, if you're really talking, Larry, Warriors in 5, let me tell you what happened. Jordan Poole showed up. If it's Warriors in 5, Jordan Poole had not just 1, but 2 games where he was 20 plus off the bench. Or maybe there's some wrinkle where he's in the starting 5. But either way, Jordan Poole has to be a lot better in this series than he was against Sacramento for it to be Warriors in 5. One of the reasons why probably so many are on the Warriors side is because, they have that winning DNA, and we just, we've talked about it incessantly. I got the numbers out of this today. Do you realize that Steve Kerr, in all postseason games, first of all, the Warriors have never lost a postseason series ahead of the NBA Finals under Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr's winning percentage in the postseason, NBA Finals included, is 724. 724. I mean, that's just insane. To win 72% of your postseason games just rolling out of bed, that's crazy. He is 97-37 over the course of a postseason career now, which is way longer than a regular season could be. That's how many postseason games this team has. So, I understand why a lot of people are erring on the side of history here. I also think it's really tough to watch what Steph Curry did the other night and lay down a bet against him right now. And the fact that the Warriors have home court advantage, to me, is the deciding factor. Like, if you were on the fence of this series, if you were having trouble picking it, I think you got to eventually just side with who's got home court, given that the Warriors are a very good basketball team at home, and we know how painfully below average they have been on the road until their last 2 road games up in Sacramento anyways. So control the ball, get Jordan Poole loose, get Klay Thompson loose, don't turn it over, don't get Kevon Looney swallowed up by Anthony Davis's excellence. And the Warriors, I do think, win this series. I'm not going to pick against them, Larry. I'm not going to tell you that the Dragon's dead until somebody actually slays it. I mean, I can't. Even if I liked the Lakers on paper, and I think I like the Lakers more than most. I think I like the Lakers in the series a little bit more than you do. It doesn't feel like a gentleman's sweep to me. I just think LeBron's got enough of a angry fist to shake at the NBA to not, put the fix in or anything like that. But I just think that this is it's going to be tighter than anyone thinks. I think it's going to be tighter than anyone thinks. And for it to be looser, Jordan Poole went off. Gary Payton was, a holy shit level presence throughout this series. Will role players step up for the Warriors before role players step up for the Lakers? That's where I think this is decided.
The chat's already let me have it. Joey Nichols, Larry's favorite poet, is Homer. I like that. That one's funny. Eddie K. Larry said last series would be done in 5 as well as this one. That means it's going 7. Well, I'm
It's
good. I'm
amazing.
glad to see you guys are all paying attention to my predictions.
Seriously, just hanging on every word, just consuming every syllable.
Getting ready to say,
I
told you you're wrong.
Right. The least interesting person in the world is the person who reads a in real time medium like Twitter and says something as stupid as "this didn't age very well." You are the most. If you have ever typed that, "this didn't age well," into Twitter, if you've ever typed that, you are the most pumpkin spice latte basic bitch dressed at the Gap of all time. You are unoriginal. You have no thought to contribute to the world other than, hey, this real-time observation was wrong that you made 6 days ago. Like, who the hell sits on those tweets to feel better about themselves? It's great to be here on the internet now. I don't want to get into an argument with the internet today, but half you all losers are dipshits. You seriously are.
Well, the one that kills me is, Ian Rappaport is reporting this. Ian Rappaport was wrong once. It's like,
right,
yeah, and he was right like 7,000 times.
Right.
So should we just
really
ignore him?
Another element of I really hate it is when Ian Rappaport will, break a story about another player, and then the first comment will be, "Now do Aaron Rodgers." I hate that. I hate that. The people give me the news when I want it, as soon as I want it. That person needs to be banned from public conversation. Look, social media is a blessing. Social media has allowed you and I to retain our well-built radio audiences, even though you and I aren't on the radio any longer. So social media can be a blessing, but it's also a curse, because never in the course of human history have we allowed just any swinging dick idiot into the conversation. Now we officially allow it. Like, the beauty of editors and newspapers and websites was that they had gatekeepers. Now any mouth breather can feel like not only can they jump in the conversation, but they can really shape it and change it and manipulate. It's just too much.
Awesome. Eddie K says, it's all in good fun, Larry. I don't mind how long it goes. Just win, Warriors.
See, that's the thing too. Oh, you were right about who won the series, but you got the games wrong, you loser.
How about this one, Malik? This channel sucks.
Totally.
But there's a million channels out there, and I just happen to be in this channel, watching this channel, and now in the chat commenting on this channel.
Right.
But this channel sucks.
Right. Every single time you tell Larry how much you don't like him, he makes another $1. That's all you need to know.
Just unbelievable. Hey, remember this, folks. The opposite of love is not hate. It's indifference. It's indifference. It's apathy. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
By the way,
you were on the. Go ahead.
Let me just. I didn't mean to jump on your thought.
No, not at all.
Did you see what a pair of courtside seats cost tonight?
No. What are they going for?
I went on Ticketmaster.
At Chase, of course.
If you want to sit courtside, I'm talking you are in between the Warriors bench on the court, like a Warrior might step on your toes on the way to checking in at the scorer's table. You are sitting next to Raymond Ritter, who sits at the end of the scorer's table, basically. That is each ticket was going for $2,400, like $24,000, excuse me. So when you click like check out, I'm going to buy these tickets, like I did it just to see what the Ticketmaster fees would be on that. The Ticketmaster tickets that are listed for $23,400. So you think you're going to pay $56K for the pair of tickets or whatever?
Right.
Excuse me. There's $9,000 in Ticketmaster fees to process 2 tickets. $9,000 in just Ticketmaster fees to buy those 2 tickets for $56,000. I mean, I know that, some people out there, that's a drop in the bucket, but good Lord, that is crazy. Just crazy.
That's bad.
It's the Western Conference semifinals.
Let me ask you this. The other night, I'm watching the game. There's Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. They weren't sitting, I don't believe, in the first row. I think they might have been in the second row.
So if you're in the second row, there's a pair of tickets in the second row courtside. So you're technically still on the court, but you're not in the front row of the two courtside rows. Those seats, those pair of seats that are in between the scorer's table and the Lakers bench, they're $16K for the pair, which after getting screwed by Ticketmaster includes another $3,500 in fees to process two tickets. Why is processing two tickets a used car? The cost of a used car to process two tickets on Ticketmaster. I've been saying, fuck John Fisher almost every single show since it's been appropriate to do so. Let me throw in a fuck Ticketmaster too. Man, that is brutal.
Do you think Lynch and Shanahan pay for those tickets? Come on, no, right?
Yeah, they should. They're multimillionaires.
But do you think they do?
Yeah,
I bet you.
What do you think the Warriors are in the business of giving away assets like that? I don't think so. I think you guys are paying.
Really?
Or how about this?
How about that? How about a trade? How about we get you a suite? You want to come out for a suite to a Niner playoff game? We'll set you up. You set us up. No, one hand washes the other.
There's a billionaire boys club agreement between Jed York and Joe Lacob that says when you're in the playoffs, you take care of me. When we're in the playoffs, we take care of you. So maybe there's a little something there.
Yeah, I'm thinking there might be. I mean, I can't wait for this one tonight. I think it's going to be incredible. Did you see the ratings for Warriors Kings? Warriors Kings Game 7 had 9.8 million average viewers, most for a first round game since 1999. You got to go back almost a quarter century. The last time they had better ratings for a Game 7. And then Game 7 or Kings Warriors Game 6 averaged 4.98 million viewers. That was the largest audience for a first round game ever in the history of ESPN.
Look, it's straight up. This is the most compelling the NBA has been to the general public since Michael Jordan played. That's what you're going back to. That's what you're talking about. So Bird and Magic are two of the single greatest rivalries that help grow the NBA more than anyone else. And I think we really have to look at LeBron and Curry almost in the same light. They are the modern Bird and Magic. Larry, they really are. They capture a level of casual fan interest that no team, no other star, dude, Kevin Durant is a great basketball player. Nobody is interested who isn't a diehard basketball fan in really watching Kevin Durant. It's just the way it is. He is not bringing in the casual fans. Devin Booker couldn't do that. Chris Paul could never do that. Jimmy Butler, as great as he's been playing, could never do that. Giannis, as much as he's beloved, can't do that. There is one human being in the world that is a bigger draw than LeBron James, and that is Steph Curry. And the second biggest draw in this league is LeBron James. You put them both together, and you've got ABC executives having real-time orgasms throughout the Western Conference semifinals. This could be the first year ever, Larry, where the Western Conference semifinals dwarf NBA Finals ratings. If either LeBron or Curry isn't in the NBA Finals, I think this series might be the highest-rated series of the playoffs.
Wow. Is anything on the line beyond the obvious? Beyond, obviously, the losers go home, the winners move on. Is there anything actually on the line? And when I say that, well, obviously I'm alluding to is legacy. Steph Curry has gotten the better of LeBron James. LeBron James, though, I would say, because we're a power-based society and LeBron's game's based on power and Steph's game he's the greatest shooter of all time, but his game, I guess you could argue, is based somewhat more on finesse. That LeBron is more people would say that LeBron has had a better career than Steph Curry to this point.
Well, he has. I mean, let's just be honest.
He's had longevity, but isn't that the rings that Steph has?
LeBron James has had the single greatest career in the history of the NBA. All things considered, the breadth of the regular season, postseason success, what he's done with different franchises. Now you can say, the fact that Steph Curry isn't a magnet that attaches himself to other refrigerators. He's a refrigerator. People and stars come to him. That's another way to look at it. Steph, I think, is the bigger evolutionary step in the game of basketball because he brought the game behind the arc the way that Jordan brought the game above the rim, the way that George Mikan brought the game to the rim. Look, there is no taking away anything Steph Curry has accomplished by admitting that the guy who is now the NBA's all-time leading scorer is the best player ever. I mean, he really is. Curry has done so much, and he's not done yet. I hate evaluating whose career was better than the others when they're still going on, but here we are. This is the media world that we live in, and I do want to talk about what I said in my opening monologue a little bit later on, if you'll give me a minute, Larry.
Sure.
But to me, well, I'll just tell you what I said in the opening monologue. The constant need to game-by-game re-rank greatness is the single biggest cancer destroying the sports conversation that could have been smart but just goes to stupid every single time something like that happens. The who's best on the list version of television and radio has dumbed down the general population so severely. The ring culture society that only understands championships. Basically what you're saying is nothing about racing other than who crosses the finish line first. And if you're only there for the winner, and if you only can celebrate victory and not look at any other thing as, and I'm not trying to go Giannis, there is no failure in sports, because there is failure in sports. But bouncing back from said failure, to me, is part of great players' stories. And, peaks and valleys can be appreciated. If you can only appreciate peaks, you're not a real mountain climber. You're not. You're not. So it drives me nuts that everything needs to be debated and re-ranked by the minute, by the possession, by the win. It drives me nuts. And I think it has dumbed down a sports conversation to a disastrously unapproachable point for some people. If I need to hear, if I am asked one more time, do you think Steph Curry is better than LeBron James? I'm gonna stab somebody to death.
Well, it's a belief by the people who create the media streams that the simplest narrative is the one that the audience will resonate with the audience, a larger number of the audience, it will resonate with more people than some incredibly insightful, nuanced, maybe even spot on key factor that ultimately is going to sway Kings Warriors in one direction or another. That is like, that's for somebody else. We'll get into LeBron or Steph. LeBron or Steph. Steph or LeBron.
It's literally they're offering the conversation that if you were having it in a sports bar, you would be backing away politely from that person just to get rid of them. And it's what we're constantly fed. And it's sad that so many people keep going back to that trough to eat there because it is a unnutritional meal that is being served by people who do not understand history. What pissed me off and what brought out my monologue in today's Damon Bruce show is before the show started and then after, my show ended and then after and before you and I did yesterday's Home and Home over on my channel, it was as if the 50-point game never happened. Like you literally just watched one of the single greatest sporting performances of all time, any sport. It's one of the bigger throw my dick on the table and let me show you who I am moments in your sports life. And it's still not good enough for people to focus on. They immediately have to come up with some hypothetical. Who do you think is better? Is Steph Curry now a top 5, top 3, top 1 point guard? Would he be on the all-time top 10? Like, You just got the greatest fucking basketball game you're ever going to see this person play. Can't we talk about that for a minute? Can't that be the focus of today's media? Do we have to go right to the, well, where do you think this goes? What do you think this is?
Hey, first of all,
look at what just happened.
You're going off on that. I'll go off on something totally different. There's only one national pregame show going on last night. It's TNT. Charles Barkley picked Sacramento to beat the Warriors. They never fucking even addressed the fact that the Warriors won the series. They only had a few series to talk about. They never touched on Warriors Kings. How weak is that? Come on, Charles. If you want to have an audience, if you want to have a respect from the audience, then guess what? You run your big mouth, do what I do. When you win, tell everybody you won. But when you lost, tuck tail, admit you're wrong, and still have a dialogue. He just was like, oh, I lost. Oh, I made this prediction. Oh, I doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down on Sacramento knocking off the defending champions, and it didn't fucking happen. Oh, I'm going to go on to my next show, and I'll just ignore it. We won't even talk about it. I mean, they did not talk at all on an NBA pregame show about the Warriors and the Kings. What?
It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. That again,
not accountable. It's what it really is. It's being unaccountable.
And here's the thing: if not for the humor on that show, and
which is all Ernie, by the way, it's all Ernie. Ernie's the funniest guy in the show.
It can be a very funny and humorous show, and Charles Barkley is certainly a magnanimous personality. But I honestly can't watch it the way that I used to. It has moved so far away from a conversation about basketball into a conversation about the cult of personality that Charles Barkley has, crafted for himself, that I'm bored with it. You know what I care about what Charles Barkley thinks about basketball? Nothing anymore. I mean, every now and then he says something that's very funny and he's entertaining and, oh, that's Chuck. But his analysis of the entirety of the Golden State Warriors dynasty has been incorrect, which means this motherfucker's been wrong about basketball for 14 years now. He's been
laughing
wrong
all the way to the bank, but I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, he is.
Where's the credibility? You made a dramatic and outspoken prediction. Own it.
But he was probably told to do that by a producer. And that's the thing. They're just playing the game to keep the audience intact. So here's why I really like being on YouTube now. I don't have to stretch bullshit into 4 hours anymore. I can say what I say
and telling a bunch of things that you don't believe in, and
yeah, I don't have to have hypothetical debates. I can tell you what I'm thinking. Thanks for listening. Go about your day. I'm not here to kill 4 hours because I need to get through this show. So I just got to make shit up and pull things out of the air. Like, that's my favorite part about doing a YouTube show. You can just streamline it. You can fire your arrow right at the bullseye. You hit it and say, thanks for listening. That's what I like about this format, I think, more than radio.
Oh, I mean, there's several things I like about it. I can't think of one off the top. Oh, yeah, here's one. People giving you cash out of the left field. Sven makes a donation. Appreciate you and Damon on the shows together, guys. Is there a future, or in the future, could we get you, Damon, and Grant on the show together to talk and debate Niners? Would be awesome to hear different perspectives. Wow, that would be juicy. That would be juicy.
Put it together, Larry. If you can put it together, I'm more than willing to participate in that.
I may have to negotiate through Lowell on that one. We'll have to see where that goes. Okay, one of the thoughts that I thought was kind of interesting is, what are we going to see from LeBron? If you looked at the Memphis series, he played 6 games. He averaged 22, 11, and 5. According to Basketball Reference, he had a 26.4% usage rate. That's well below his career average of 31.9% in the playoffs. Was he preserving his energy in the first round? I don't know. Or how much of it is the foot injury? The one thing that was really clear to me in that first round is that LeBron at 38, I mean, especially here we are in May, Damon, I mean, he doesn't have that burst He really doesn't. And I just think that foot injury has taken away his burst. And I kind of wonder what we're going to see from him in this series. And, here's the thing. I get the feeling that we're not going to hear anything about the foot injury until they start going circling the drain, until it's like 2-0 Warriors and they're up in game 3 at halftime. And it's like, oh, wait a second. This can be a quick series. And then all of a sudden we're going to hear about LeBron's foot. He's got that foot, and that's been a problem. And obviously he couldn't do much because of the foot. It's like the narrative that comes up to save face after you're getting boat raced. I think that's coming in this series because I think the Warriors are the better team. They took down a better Sacramento team. This Laker team is a great franchise, and they've got great history, but they're not the Kings. They're not nearly as good as the Kings were this year. And I like the Warriors to beat them and dispatch them relatively quickly. I think this is the game. This is the series that the Warriors get their energy back and the Warriors have no shot the next round against Denver, in my opinion, if this thing goes 6 or 7, knockdown, drag out, physical. They can't have another series like that first round series. If the Warriors want to win a title, if they want to get past Denver, they got to put the Lakers away quickly, painlessly, and expend as little energy and effort as possible in doing so. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And the Phoenix Suns can help out the Golden State Warriors by picking up a game, and they just got clobbered 2 games in a row and didn't look nearly like the scoring team in game 2 that they have been so far in the postseason. But back to LeBron, I'll say this about the foot. It is a problem. I mean, I don't think that is a manufactured storyline to boost his legacy. I think it is part of this postseason story, as is the fact that his gas tank doesn't get as full as it used to. Now, let's see if that isn't haunting the Warriors as well here. And there are not, the NBA did these old teams no favors by putting, very little time in between some of these games. So there's going to be quick turnarounds. There's going to be a lot of cold tubs for everyone who was on the court. Even the young guys need cold tubs after playoff series. Imagine being as old as LeBron, as off injured as Anthony Davis has been. These guys' bodies get beat on. I mean, I know that we talk about how physical the NFL is, and rightfully so, but all you got to do is go to an NBA game to start really appreciating the level of physicality that is going on out there. It is big dudes moving at the speed of light everywhere. So I don't begrudge LeBron his aging process, his foot injury. I think it's part of this year's story. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the Warriors, really need some energy out of guys who have not showed up yet this postseason series. This, who could really, really help the Golden State Warriors?
Who's that?
Is Dante DiVincenzo, if he can give you 18 minutes and buy 3 extra minutes of rest for Steph somewhere, and then not drown in the Steph is on the bench minutes. That's how the Warriors win this. And Wiggins just doing a great job staying in front of LeBron so everyone can be honest everywhere else. Look, age is real. Age is real. Now, the timing of the narrative and the broadcast, you got a point. You got a point for sure. When LeBron, and I mean this in a basketball standpoint, when LeBron does lay down to die in his regular, in his career, I'm just talking about his career. I'm not talking about him. But when LeBron does lay down to die as an NBA player, he will be placed in his grave as gently as possible. And you know what? He's earned it. He's earned it. He really has. Larry, this is another reason why, Steph Curry overshot any expectation anyone, Del Curry himself, could have ever had for his son. Nobody saw Steph Curry coming. Larry Riley is the only human being in the world who can say, I saw it. And actually, you'd be like, okay, Larry, well, you did draft him, so I'll give you that much.
I will say this, and I know nobody knows this guy.
Real quick. LeBron is the single greatest delivered upon promise of any athlete of our lifetimes. Of our lifetimes. Maybe Bryce Harper, maybe because we heard about him in high school. I heard about LeBron James when he was 14 years old. Here's the guy who's going to be better than Michael. And the guy who was going to be better than Michael was Harold Miner, and it was all these other guys who never turned out to be better than, not even in the realm of Michael. Right. LeBron is the biggest delivered promise we have ever had, any sport, globally. I mean, globally. I don't think there's anyone who's ever been said, that guy's going to be the next big deal, and was this much of a big deal as he's been.
I will say this. When LeBron was coming out, or when Steph Curry was coming out in the draft, I was working for Sirius XM. My producer at the time was a sharp young kid named Tom Kress, who I think still works for Sirius XM, for I think Sirius NFL Radio maybe. But he was just a really sharp sports guy, and he literally was convinced that Steph Curry was an all-time great when he was at Davidson, and he wanted the Knicks. You remember the Knicks picked right behind the Warriors in the Steph Curry draft, and he wanted the Knicks badly to get Steph Curry. And he knew. I mean, it was amazing. He knew that Steph Curry was this special player, and he said it. He said it so many times that I was like almost getting tired of hearing it. So I will give him, but of course, nobody knows Tom Kress said that except for me.
Way to go, Tom Kress. I thought you were going to tell me Tom Kress said that the Cleveland Cavaliers should have taken Carmelo Anthony with the first pick that year. I thought that's what you were going to tell me there, or, Darko or something like that. And I would have said, did he go to Syracuse?
Exactly. Okay, here's the one thing. I think one of the main reasons Golden State was able to get by Sacramento was the job that they did defensively, collectively, and individually on Sabonis. I thought the way they defended Sabonis took away his ability to pass, shut down some of the other players offensively because he created for them. You're talking about a big man who was averaging 7 assists per game, almost 8 assists per game. They totally played off of him to the point where they challenged him to shoot the ball and made him not react and play fast, but think and play slow. And he took a few shots. He made a few of them, but he missed a few as well. But what it essentially did was it killed his flow and killed his ability to distribute. And to me, those two factors were just enough for Sacramento for the Warriors to get by. In this series, I think they've got another situation kind of like that. LeBron has been, even though I read his numbers, he shot under 20% from 3-point range in the Memphis series. Play off of him, beg him, send him a written invite to shoot that three, beg him to shoot the three.
Davis. Same thing with Anthony Davis. You want to have Anthony Davis will settle for jump shots if you let him, and that's where he is his least effective offensive version of himself. If I am the Lakers coaching staff, I am telling Anthony Davis, I want you at the rim all night long. I just want you overwhelming Kevon Looney. And look, Anthony Davis is a whole lot better than Domantas Sabonis. So, I mean, that to me is, Sabonis is the bunny slope compared to the hill that is Anthony Davis. So I think it's just a much different flavor series. You're right, though. They did an incredible job on Sabonis. They begged him to shoot. You know what? In Game 7, they also did? They did the same thing with Harrison Barnes. And Harrison Barnes obliged the Golden State Warriors by wrapping both hands around his own neck and choking himself right out of another Game 7. LeBron might have a bad shooting percentage, but he's not a choker. And Anthony Davis, bubble ring, whatever you want to talk about, or, maybe he excelled because that happened in the vacuum of an empty gym. I do think he can get rattled. And look, I'm still waiting for the Anthony Davis is going back to the locker room. If at any point in time you get Anthony Davis is going to the locker room, the Warriors need to win that game. I mean, there are two guys to be really, really, really worried about, and everyone else You just, slow them down. Let LeBron and Anthony Davis get theirs, because they can't do it all by themselves. Try to shut off everyone else's valve, and that's how I think the Warriors win. And if Wiggins can just stay honest, it's going to allow Draymond and Looney to kind of put a double team, or at least weak side help, which they're going to need a lot of, on Anthony Davis.
Well, it's funny. The Lakers won 3 out of 4 against the Warriors in the regular season. Now, 2 of those came when the Warriors did not have Steph Curry. The third, he had just come back. It was his first game back from injury. So maybe the regular season doesn't mean anything. But you mentioned Anthony Davis. Davis against Memphis averaged 21 a game in the series, but that's not really where he got it rolling. He averaged almost 14 rebounds and 4.3 blocks per game in that first round, and he totally controlled the paint. So I agree with you that Anthony Davis is a key factor. Give me a wild card factor for either team. Are we going to see Jonathan Kuminga, who looked tremendous in the second half of the year? Are we going to see Kuminga get more run, or did his struggles in the first round scare Kerr
Larry,
to the point where he's not going to play a role?
I'm not betting on Kuminga playing a big role until I see it with my own eyes, the same way I'm not betting on the Warriors getting eliminated until I see it with my own eyes. I just don't think Steve Kerr's got a lot of faith in him. And, the price of poker goes up in every round, not down. So I'll have to see it to believe it. If Jonathan Kuminga wasn't entrusted to hang with Keegan Murray, you're going to trust him to shut down LeBron? I mean, come on. I just don't see that happening.
He's a perfect size to shut down LeBron.
He could be an athlete. Here's the thing, though. It's the Warriors. Size schmize. If size mattered, James Wiseman would still be in the room, wouldn't he? They don't give a shit, man. They're going to try to go out and run, and playing up-tempo against a Laker. Look, the Lakers are a very good defensive team. The Warriors are a very good offensive team, especially at home. And that, to me, is the wild card, making sure that the Warriors just, in the ultimate, to make or miss league, how's Klay's 3-point percentage? How's Steph Curry? Is this team knocking down its freebies from the free throw line, which was the reason why they didn't win by 30 up in Game 7 in Sacramento? Jordan Poole, Gary Payton II, Dante DiVincenzo, Ragu, all these guys. One ain't enough. One ain't enough. 2 guys got to come along for the ride for it to be something as gaudy as Warriors in 5 or as comfortable as Warriors in 6 actually sounds to me.
Klay Thompson was not himself in that first round. He shot 35% from beyond the arc in the series. My contention is that Klay is trying to shoot threes because Klay is one of the great 3-point shooters in the history of the game. But to me, where Klay Thompson is incredibly valuable, and I think the Warriors could almost ride him to another title if he would embrace this, is that I think his mid-range game can be so efficient and so unstoppable. We talked a lot about Durant and how great Durant was when he was here. What was Durant's greatest thing? Is that when you absolutely had to have a bucket, he could take his 7-foot frame, rise up at the elbow, shoot over somebody who was draped all over him with all the pressure in the world, and his shot was so pure that they were going down. Those shots were going down. And to me, that was incredible. That threes are nice, but Klay Thompson is struggling from 3. But Klay Thompson, when he squares his shoulders and he gets comfortably inside the arc, Damon, I think he's one of the most automatic guys there is. His shot is so pure from distance, but when he moves in, it just is that much more unstoppable. I'd like to see Klay hunt some 2s instead of trying to dial back to Klay pre-injury. The lift isn't there, the legs aren't there. Whatever the issue is, he's money from 2, but he's not the same player as he used to be from 3. So take a bunch of 2s.
the guy who led the NBA in 3-point makes this year should take threes.
But don't you think he looks a little
here's
gassed?
The thing, though. But when they don't fall, stop taking threes. That's where Klay needs to
don't
be a
shoot him
little
out of the
less
game.
Unselfish. Exactly. And to me, this past couple years I've been watching, I think one of the best mid-range shots in the entire game is DeMar DeRozan of the Chicago Bulls. Like, that guy is just money in the mid-range right now. And if Klay started to embrace that, when the three's not falling, like you said, take a couple mid-range. Watch a few go in watch a few go in. That's a really good way to get hot from everywhere all at once. So just see a few go in. Klay getting to the rim has never been really a strong suit. Klay getting to the line has never really been a strong suit of his game. Maybe he can do a little low post damage if he's got the right matchup there because he is big. But I really think that he is going to be properly motivated in this series for all kinds of reasons.
Oh, he's playing in front of his pops.
Yeah. And Bryant says Klay's dribble package feels a little loose. There is no Klay dribble package. Klay is a terrible dribbler. He can dribble straight ahead. That's all he can do. He is no handle whatsoever. There are two guys on this team, and it's funny to say it about Jordan Poole because he is a freaking turnover adventure sometimes, but the two guys on this team who actually got handles are Steph Curry and Jordan Poole. So if anyone's going to be taking anybody off dribble drives, it's going to be one of those two guys, not Klay.
Couple more minutes with Damon Bruce here as we're only going for an hour, and we're unbelievably, dude, we're 8 minutes away from an hour. That's how quickly you and I can get through an hour. All right,
I remember. I just, Larry, real quick. I remember when you and I would, I would do a show on 95.7 The Game. You'd do a show on KNBR. We'd talk in the night, and the two of us would have like a 2.5 hour conversation because we'd just get lost in it. And we're like, do you realize that this is the best show that either station would have had today? Like, we should sell this phone call to both radio stations to do a simulcast.
Yeah, KNBR could use the help these days. Joey Nichols says Klay never had handles. I don't know. Klay never had big time handle, but Klay's, I saw him at Wazoo. He looked like he had decent handles back then. Cody Semke says, Krug, ever been to Beep's Burgers on Ocean Ave? Hell yeah. Damon lives over there now.
It is.
You're literally a stone's throw.
For the price point, it might be the best meal in San Francisco. I'm throwing it down that hard. Like, that's how much I believe in the Beep's Burger. It is an A+, fast food style, griddle style, seared patty burger. A+. Love Beep's.
Eddie says Skip Bayless saw Curry being a superstar. Yeah,
right. And he can't see LeBron's even good at playing basketball. So who gives a shit what he thinks about anything?
Kapler is dead. Who makes more of an impact tonight, GP2 or Poole? I'm going to say GP2. I think Poole's a nice player, but Poole's got issues in that he is just always trying. He's pouting now because he's not getting calls, and I don't think that works. I think that just means that you're going to get even fewer calls. So I don't like that game plan of let's just pout when we don't get calls, and I don't expect the officials to go his way. For whatever reason, they don't like Jordan Poole. I think it's clear.
Who doesn't like Jordan Poole?
I think the
officials
refs.
Or the Warriors?
The refs. No, the refs don't like Jordan Poole. He doesn't get any calls. He doesn't ever get calls. I mean, and he's now to a point where it's in his head, and he's looking for it. He's trying to sell it. The other day in a playoff game against the Kings, he gets picked. I think he's the only one between the offensive player and the bucket, and he just stopped running. It's the playoffs. That's like as lame as Sean Estes dancing off the second base bag against the Mets because he hurt his ankle in the playoffs. It's the fucking playoffs. I don't care if your ankle hurts. Stay on the goddamn bag. And the same thing I would say was Jordan Poole. I don't care if you didn't get the goddamn call. Keep playing. Keep playing.
Right.
You
don't have enough house credit to start talking to officials. You should just shut up and play.
Just keep going. Argue about it at the commercial. Argue about it at the next time out. Keep playing. Don't quit. What do you think of this one? This is interesting. G2, the universe. Do the Lakers go after Draymond's temper out of desperation in this series?
Absolutely. They'd be stupid not to. Darvin Ham should send someone to code red Draymond. I think that they should. If I'm the Lakers, I am being overtly physical with Steph Curry to the point where somebody might get ejected. I mean, the Lakers. This is LeBron's last chance to possibly ever win a ring, right? Like, it's not going to happen if it doesn't happen this year. Again, it probably won't. This is it. So there is no one who should be hesitant to do anything that they think could give the Lakers an advantage on that Lakers roster. They should be the only chance they have to win this series is to play bully ball. So I expect them to be bullies.
We got this one from Smitty. Larry, y'all gonna lose.
Again, you're betting against a 724 postseason winning percentage. Have fun with that.
Yeah, good luck. Way to play the odds. Give me the wild card factor for either team coming down the stretch here. What do you think? Give me one player that's a wild card for either team.
Kevon Looney, 20 rebounds. The Warriors will not lose a game where he has 20 rebounds in this series either. And I know that we've been crapping on Jordan Poole. I think here's the thing. I think he's got a big game in him. There's a part of me. Krueger. I compared him to a Jack in the Box taco. Like, I can't tell.
Underrated?
No, I can't tell if he's the worst best player or the best worst player. Like, I don't know if that's the best worst taco or the worst best taco. Like, it can sometimes make you queasy, yet it is at other times incredibly satisfying and sucks up all that beer that is in your gut, and you're thankful that you got it. And that, to me, is Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole needs to be the good version of the Jack in the Box taco and be the best worst player, not the worst best player in this series. So I think that Jordan Poole is a massive, massive wild card for the Warriors. And look, if he plays well, watch the pendulum swing right back to, I love this guy. It's that's what fans do.
I'm gonna say Reeves for the Lakers is their wild card. The Warriors can blanket him, should be able to turn off his water, but if they leave him, he'll crush them. He'll crush them.
I think maybe
don't
D'Angelo
lose
Russell
him in
could
the
be
half court.
Yeah. D'Angelo Russell could be a little bit of the Lakers wild card too here. He's also got an axe to grind, you would think, against the Warriors as a franchise. So he's got a little personal something in this, the way that that Clay's got a lot of personal something in this. And hopefully Clay manifests all that caring about this series to become, look, if the Splash Brothers are together and they're both doing what we expect them to do, Warriors win this series.
Steve Kerr, you've been on 95.7 The Game all year. You've talked to Warrior fans endlessly. You've talked about the Warriors endlessly. There seems to be more people with license to go at Kerr. I hear it from Cyrus Satsis, who does Locked On Warriors. I hear it from hosts on 95.7. I hear it from fans. I see it in the message on the message boards. Kerr, when you think about his stats as a winner and his accomplishments with the Warriors, in some ways he should just be given just total free pass. But people aren't giving him a free pass this year, and there's been a lot of criticism this year, and some percentage of it, Damon, as you know and I know, is warranted. Is Steve Kerr having a bad year in your mind, or is Steve Kerr just doesn't care about the regular season, brought his entire team along, and he's actually having a great year? He just had a master plan that the fans just didn't realize he had.
I think that Steve is stubborn, a little too stubborn for his own good at times, with rotations, with minutes, with coach DMPs, with early hooks on younger players. I really don't understand how Moses Moody was brought along this year. Why are you giving all of those regular season minutes to Anthony Lamb, and then come playoff time, all that seasoning you got out of Anthony Lamb, you just totally, just forego it. Now we're going to go with Moody. Like it's weird how they have developed players and young players on this team. But here's who Steve Kerr is. He's Bill Walsh. Everyone needs to shut the fuck up. The man's got a 724 postseason winning percentage with 4 banners hung. There is no one, coach who has had a better decade than Steve Kerr. Is he great every night? Are the Warriors great every season? Look at it this way. If Steve Kerr is so bad at his job, how come the only time they don't go to the playoffs is when Steph breaks a wrist, Klay tears an ACL, or Kevin Durant tears his Achilles? You know what I mean? Like it is Steve Kerr, whatever you may think he lacks, and I'm not saying you, Larry, but whatever the population thinks Steve Kerr lacks tactically in any moment, the way that he manages that locker room and the personalities in that locker room are the reason why he's so successful. Steve Kerr is a better manager of people than he even is basketball games. And he knows a whole hell of a lot about basketball too. So I think it's preposterous. It's lazy analysis. It's low hanging fruit. And I think that it's the demise of Steve Kerr is very exaggerated.
When I asked him directly, filling in for you 2 months ago, are you here next year? And he's like,
were you
absolutely.
Filling in, Larry?
I was.
Was I not? Oh, maybe I was on vacation. I might have been in Mexico.
You were on vacation.
So
you were in Mexico.
Fill in.
You were in Mexico. So I mentioned Austin Reeves, who was great against Memphis. I'll tell you, the other guy that worries me a little bit is Schroeder, just because he's so fast with the ball in his hands. He's got great handle, and he's kind of unpredictable.
Poole, though. He's a Jordan Poole who really can't shoot. So unless he
but
gets
he also rises up and plays well at the most inopportune times. The other factor is the Lakers, underdogs in the first round against the Grizzlies, and yet they still put them away. But since the All-Star break, they have been the best defensive team in the NBA. And they showed it against Memphis. And if they can show it against Curry and Thompson, this could be a long series. But to me, the key factor, and tell me what you think of this. For me, the key factor is how the Warriors go about the offense on the offensive side of the floor against Anthony Davis. The one thing I saw in that first round series of Lakers Grizzlies is Anthony Davis was just an absolute monster. And it was because he blocked 26 shots, 26 blocks in the series. Somehow, some way, the Warriors have to figure out a way to draw Anthony Davis out of the lane and neutralize him as a shot blocker. Do not allow him to block. He blocks 26 shots or more in this series, the Lakers are going to win this series. You're going to have to figure out a way to draw him out of the lane on the defensive end of the floor, and then once he's out of the lane, attack the rim.
That's the rim. Absolutely.
That's what I want to see.
Standing under the rim, go to the rim. I'll agree with you there. And I kind of got to leave it here. I don't want to attack one of your listeners because your listeners have been great to me, Larry. Your subscribers have been great to me. Please subscribe to Damon Bruce Plus if you haven't. That way you'll never miss a home and home when it happens over on my channel. But a guy named Gold Blooded wrote in. He says, "Oh, please, I could have coached those loaded Warriors teams. And Kerr is an idiot outside of basketball. Him and his idiot mentor Popovich, but at least Pop isn't actually a great coach." Let me tell you something, Gold-Blooded. You couldn't roll out a fucking ball rack in a practice. Okay? You couldn't roll out a fucking ball rack in a practice. You think you're better than Steve Kerr in anything that involves something round?
It sounds to me like Gold-Blooded is it doesn't like Kerr's politics and doesn't appreciate Kerr voicing his opinions.
Yeah, it's awful how Steve Kerr has so personally affected by gun violence. He thinks that gun violence should be curbed and kids should not be shot. What an asshole!
Well, you know the way it is, people. You know the way it is. People want everybody to stay in their lane. If you venture off your path I don't want to. He doesn't. We don't see eye to eye on something. Oh, he's the worst. Kerr.
Look at it this
Kerr
way.
is not an idiot outside of basketball. Or Kerr is absolutely the opposite of an idiot outside of basketball. If anything, I would say that Steve Kerr is the closest, an NBA coach gets to being a Renaissance man, who's conversant on many topics. Come on. I mean, he's an idiot outside of basketball.
Gold-blooded says, who do you know? You're a YouTube clown that you're watching. Let me get my dick out of your mouth for a second, okay? You're watching this YouTube clown. You're hanging on every word. I own you, gold-blooded. You should never be allowed. You know what? You should block him thoroughly. Just goodbye. Just say goodbye to that mega asshole. He's ruining sports conversations. And if he doesn't like me, I got good news. Larry, I do have to run. Jillian and I have a 3:30 that I'm a little late for.
No problem, brother. Hey, good stuff. Excellent opinions. Hour and 6 minutes went by in a blink of an eye. Have a great rest of your day.
Great to talk to you. Everyone click subscribe except you, gold-blooded. I don't want anything to do with you, and it was a pleasure putting my balls on your forehead this afternoon. Have a great day.
And like that, he's gone. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. And, I don't know. I'm not going to block Gold-Blooded, but at the same time, I don't agree. I think Steve Kerr is very, very intelligent, very bright. Do I agree with everything he says? No. Do I see eye to eye on every philosophy or political stance? Or not necessarily. But I do think he's a very intelligent guy. And I know Steve a little bit through Tom Tolbert, and Steve's heart is in the right place. And to me, whether I agree with you or disagree with you, when your heart is in the right place, I give you a wide berth. A wide berth. Because there's so many people whose heart's not in the right place that when you find somebody who actually thinks about other people, cares about other people, cares about the society we live in, has strong feelings. Maybe you don't agree with Steve Kerr's, stance on certain things. That's fine. That's fine. But to say that he doesn't know anything outside of basketball, that's not true. That's not true. The Rocky Mountain Razorback. Larry, you're the shit. And if you left off I probably wouldn't have read that. Just think of it that way. All right. Damon, always a lot of fun. That's what we call the home and home. We got this one. Dude, that guy was salty as shit. Talking about Damon, probably. Adrian. Guys, come on, guys. Don't get personal. Eddie K. Bruce. There you go. Kapler's dead with a WTF, which a WTF just kind of fits. You could almost drop that in on any show that we're having, and it would be in the right context. What the fuck? Just anything. Literally anything. Anything we're talking about. Just drop WTF in the chat. And it applies. Eddie K says, Larry, what does your new flag say? New Niner flag. It says, you can't see it, but it says nitty. You can't see the gritty. It says nitty gritty Niners. And I got that from my man Breezy. So I love Breezy. Breezy and I on Wednesdays at 2:00. We go home and home on our own channels. This week it's going to be on Breezy's channel. Last week it was on my channel. So that's coming up later on this week. All right, let me do this. We got a great lineup of stuff coming up later on this week on the channel. We got great stuff coming up later on today on the channel. I'm going to tell you guys all about that coming up next. But first, let's hear from our sponsor, Pig and a Pickle. Proud sponsor of the show, Pig and a Pickle. Love Damon, love Mary. If you haven't been to Pig and a Pickle, check them out. The best barbecue in Northern California. They're in Corte Madera. They're in Emeryville. They're open in Emeryville Wednesday through Sunday, I believe. In Corte Madera every day. Every day. You can't say Krueg. I wanted to go that day, but it wasn't open. I'll know you're lying. It's open every day. Every day in Corte Madera from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. The best barbecue in Northern California. The brisket is absolutely amazing. Here's a little look at what the outside and inside of Pig and a Pickle looks like. Check it out.
So New York style sausage was started over 70 years ago. We are the largest producer of fresh Italian sausage on the West Coast.
What makes our sausage in New York style is really the recipe came from back east, from New York, from Connecticut.
If you look at all of our labels, there's maximum 4 or 5 ingredients, which we're really proud of.
There's no preservatives, no MSG, fresh in, fresh out.
The pork comes in fresh, goes out fresh. There's never any freezing throughout the process. We've always used fine quality cuts. We're never gonna deter from that. It's one of the reasons why our sausage is so good. I guarantee you put our sausage up against anybody else's from a flavor standpoint, no one will beat it, hands down.
And do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go buy a package of the New York style Italian sausage. Guaranteed you will love it, guaranteed.
All right, we're coming down the home stretch on the live stream. Thanks to Damon for stopping by. It is time for the Star Chats. Rocky Mountain Razorback. Stop busting my balls and get some of the New York style Italian sausage. Absolutely. Absolutely. Quincy Jacinto. Bro, Pig and a Pickle is fire. Larry. You lazy. It's an inside joke. Only the true regulars. I've got a couple buddies who, just peruse the channel, like, let's say monthly. They're not regulars. They don't check it out regularly. And like, I've had some of my buddies call me and be like, Krug, dude, you're like the hardest working guy there is in media. He's like, you really have people in your chat calling you lazy? And I'm like, oh no, bro. It's about my mentor, the late great Bill Urbanek, and the stories that I've told about Billy, and how many times he said, Larry, you're a good boy, but you're fucking lazy. You're fucking lazy. And so people drop "you're lazy" all the time in the chat, and it's a term of endearment. It's a term of endearment, and I take it as such. If it's not, well, maybe they actually think I'm lazy. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not lazy. In fact, if I'm dragging today, my wife and daughter took my daughter to grad school today. So they had a flight that left at like 5. So I had to drop them at the Oakland airport at like 3. I mean, it was like, what? So I have been up, and once I'm out of the rack, I can't go back to bed. So I've been up this morning doing a bunch of stuff for the channel and having fun and getting ready for the week that is the Krueg show. But yeah, if I look like I'm dragging a little bit, it's because I went to bed at like 1:45 and woke up at 3 to get them to the airport in Oakland by 3:30 for a 5 o'clock flight. So I'm dragging a little bit. But yeah. So sometimes you got to do it. We got this one. Fish and chips. Your lazy story was so long ago originally. Yes, it was. Nate Dogg, who's a big Kings fan. Nate Dogg out in Woodland. Nate Dogg's a good Kings fan. And I'll say this, Nate Dogg, I do feel bad for the Kings and their fans. It's tough to lose Game 7 at home, but it was Steph Curry. And let's be honest, guys, De'Aaron Fox is terrific, but it's Steph Curry's time. And I would say the same thing about LeBron James. LeBron James, a hell of a player, incredible career, but it's Steph Curry's time. Simple as that. Warriors in 5. A lot of Truth 05. Congratulations, Larry. By the way, I've got to put out a 17,000 subs. We're at 17,000 subs. And I think we're almost at 17,200 in the last 2 days. So the channel is just exploding right now. And thanks to all of you. Fish and chips. Zombie Krueg. Walter Washington. Hey, Larry. Where you been? Welcome. Where have I been? Been here 24/7, bro. Carlos Guido, the New York style breakfast sausage is out of this world. Out of this world. What you guys got to do is you got to go to New York style Italian sausage website and just leave a note. If you want to support the show, because they read all those comments that they get, and they take it to heart. So let them know how much you love the Krueg show. Contact New York Style Sausage on their website and leave them a message. Tell them that you're a regular watcher of the Krueg show and that you're a big fan of New York Style Sausage in all of its forms. I agree with you, though, Carlos. The breakfast sausage is phenomenal. So my son, my college-age son, came home a few months ago and from Cal Poly, and I had just gone down to New York Style Italian Sausage. And they had loaded me up. You know, when I go down to the factory, they're just like, Krueg, you got to take a box of sausage. I'm like, am I going to say no? Are you kidding me? I'll say, is that all I'm getting? But anyway, so they said, what kind do you want? I'm like, I love the Italian mild. I just did fried rice today for the week for the kids. I put in bacon, eggs, chicken, New York style Italian sausage, green onions, parsley, garlic. What else? Diced up mushrooms. I mentioned garlic, little parsley, little garlic, little butter. I cut 3 yellow onions and I grilled the onions and then I put them in there as well. So I basically the kids love it, and then I don't have to cook. Right? Because we can eat fried rice for the next 2 or 3 days until my wife gets back from Atlanta. So there you go. Little glimpse into the inner workings of the Krueg show behind the scenes. East Coast Red and Gold. Krueg, have to send you an ECRG flag. I'll put it up. Do you guys like the 3 flags? I am covering the carpeted walls. I got that one, the UK flag. That's a great one. And then I've got the 49er flag, also a UK gift to me. And then Breezy just gave me the Niner flag. I think I need 1 or 2 more, though. 1 or 2 more flags in the studio. But the studio hasn't looked better. It really hasn't looked better. The carpeted walls, it was time to, make an adjustment. Upgrade. Nate Dogg says, appreciate you. Why did we have to face the champs? LOL. I know, Nate Dogg. You guys had such a great year. And my brother, who's such a class act, put on Facebook, "Good luck to the Warriors and Steph Curry and this and that today." Very gracious of him. Of course, he's weak for jumping off of the Warriors when we were Warrior fans as kids, and then just because he lives in Natomas, now suddenly he's a Kings fan. But I understand. He's got kids, and what, are you going to root for the out-of-town team? Nate Dogg, Steph is on another level. What can you say? It's well said. TK Yang, Steph wants one more ring. What I want is I want to see LeBron go down one more time. Somebody said, Krueg hates LeBron. Usually I'd push back and go, no, I don't. Yeah, I do. I can't stand LeBron. I won't even try to pretend I like him. Carlos says, Larry, although it will not be popular, Steph Curry becomes my GOAT if he wins another ring this season. Love Steph Curry, but come on, what about MJ? I don't throw the GOAT thing. I don't throw that around lightly. You know, to me, I'm barely comfortable giving Tom Brady the GOAT status over Montana, but I just got to off of longevity. But come on, Jordan. Jordan was incredible. Jordan was the best defensive player and the best offensive player. Is Curry the best defensive player in the league? No. Jordan was a 9-time all-defense defender. That's the number one thing I point to when people try to say LeBron's Jordan. He's not 9. LeBron's not a 9-time all-defense member. He's not. Jordan was the best. The best. Fish and Chips shooting one at Nate Dogg says Nate Dogg, Cat are lazy. Cats are lazy. If they were humans, they would be unemployed. Something makes me laugh about that. Fish and Chips can't get the sausage. What do you mean you can't get the sausage? The sausage is everywhere. JCK 510. Who needs to sleep when you've got New York style sausage? Smitty, Larry, it was a pleasure putting Bruce. Putting something on Bruce? Something about Damon. This is a great one. Carlos Guido. I told my boss I don't need money. Just pay me a New York style Italian sausage. A little side of fennel. Oh, man. Quincy Jacinto. Sounds like Larry can get down in the kitchen. Oh, heck yeah. Are you kidding me? I have certain things that I can do. I'm more of a griller. I'm more of the barbecue guy than the kitchen. But I can cook. My mother, my late mother, the late, great Carol Krueger, was such a great cook. Such an incredible cook. I mean, I miss her for a million reasons, but I miss her a lot when I'm cooking. And I used to call my mom all the time with like, hey, what do you do? How do you put this together? And sometimes like when I get into like how do I cook this? I got nobody to call. That's when I really miss her. Adrian Gutierrez. That sounds so damn good, Larry. Oh, it is. It is. It really is. The thing about the fried rice too, it's like when you put eggs in something, it's so filling. So I put 6 eggs in there, 6 scrambled eggs, an entire package of the Italian mild, 6 chicken breasts, a whole package of bacon, and then yellow onions, green onions, and then I don't do a lot of I don't spice it up a lot. Like I won't put any salt and pepper. I'll cook all the ingredients, get them in there, mix it all together. But I don't, because you can always add a little salt or a little soy sauce or whatever, pepper, whatever you want. So I kind of under season it, so it's really flavorful, but kind of also not that spicy, or it's kind of has I don't know. It's a combination of great flavor and like needs a little bit more flavor. So then you can salt and pepper it yourself. We got this one. Sven, why did I get the feeling there was drama between Damon and Grant? Sorry if I offended or overstepped with my question. Oh, I mean, there is. Grant doesn't like Damon. Damon doesn't particularly like Grant's dad. It goes back to Grant's dad wrote an article about Damon. Damon felt like he was fucking with his money and his career and his livelihood. And we all know how people get when you screw with their money. But Lowell's piece on Damon was hard hitting, but I felt it was, I didn't feel like there was anything in the story that wasn't actually true. And I'm caught in between because I like Lowell, I like Grant, and I like Damon. So, but yeah, if you're holding out for a Larry Damon Grant, I don't see it coming. I don't see it happening. I mean, I could try, but I don't see it happening. Fish and chips, that UK flag, you don't know the beginnings, Larry. I don't. Tell me more. Look at Luca Luna. Those sandwiches look dry, or do they come with sauce you pour on them? Are you talking about the pig in a pickle video? They weren't dry. If it looks dry, it was my bad camera. The brisket is juicy, really juicy. But yeah, they do their house-made barbecue sauces, and they're really, really good. Adrian Gutierrez, Larry, you need a Giants flag. I need a Giants team that I can believe in right now. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Joey Nichols, Larry, what do you think of the undrafted free agent Kalen Laburn? And it's not LeBron. I just did a video on it. Go check out my video on it. I did a deep dive on him. And when I say deep dive, I mean, I watched interviews the guy did. I read interviews that the guy did. I watched film on him. I read like 19 different articles on him. The kid lived in Japan for when he was as a little kid, like between like 5 and 10. He lived in Japan. His dad was in the Navy. He loves playing FIFA. There's just a lot there, but I love what I've seen out of Laburn. I mean, you're talking about 4.4 speed, tackle breaking ability. The Niners have an incredible eye for undrafted free agents, and they got a bunch of them. Go look at the kid Jameson, the corner out of Texas. He's a return guy in a corner. He's unbelievable. That was a great pickup. And then Jair Brown. Jair Brown is the truth. I think Jair Brown maybe starts over Tayshaun Gibson. Jair Brown looks really good. And I watched him on New Year's Day, or was it the day after, for the Rose Bowl, Utah, Penn State. He was the MVP of that game. 1.5 sacks. He had a pick. He had 8 tackles. The nice thing about Jair Brown, he will absolutely bring the hammer up in the line of scrimmage. You want to play him in the box, you can do it. You want to play him in the cover 3, in the singular lone defender deep. He can play that too. I think that was a tremendous pick. The Niners last year they didn't have a number 1, but they took Drake Jackson, who should have gone in the first round. This year they didn't have a 1 or a 2, and they take Jair Brown, who everybody I talked to said he should have gone in the second round. Daniel Jeremiah said that Jair Brown was his number 1 safety in the entire draft. How about that? Couple more, and then we'll get to the starred chats. Wouldn't be a chat if we didn't have Rafa saying, what about Freddy Krueger? Damn that movie. I went through life with absolutely nobody saying anything about my name, and then all of a sudden that movie comes along, and now I get it every time I go to the gas station. Freddy. It's like, do you know how unoriginal that is by now? I mean, it's just unbelievable. Carson Taylor, trade Wiggs and Jordan Poole for Zach LaVine. I don't want to move Wiggs because he's, I think, the perfect personality for this team, but Poole, I could move Poole. Eddie says, Larry, I feel you. Carlos, Larry, YouTube teaches you how to cook everything. Oh, yeah, there you go. I never really thought of it that way. I'll tell you one thing I did use YouTube for when we were on the road down at spring training. I was looking for a couple restaurants. If you go to YouTube and type in Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, the Guy Fieri show, and type in Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, Santa Barbara, whatever, it will pop up all their shows that highlight their restaurants in Santa Barbara. To me, I always felt like that's a great show to watch if you're in a town and you don't have a restaurant recommendation. You can see it. You can see it for yourself, see what it looks like, find something you like. That show actually has some use. Fish and Chips. Is Jackson Krueger, NFL content creator, a distant relative? I stumbled across him searching for you. No relation at all. Carlos Guido, that I know of. Carlos Guido, Larry, try your steak sausage with Argentine-style chimichurri. Ooh. You can YouTube recipes for chimichurri and make it at home. All right, noted, Carlos. I like that. I like an idea, man. Sven says, I didn't know all about that history. Thanks, Larry. Yeah, no, I mean, it's like you guys are walking in on like the 12th chapter of a 20 chapter book. And there's some people have beef. M Vita 916, Larry, why are you a LeBron hater? Not 5, not 6, not 7. Jumping ship. Jordan didn't jump ship. Steph didn't jump ship. They didn't beg their way to a winning team. They didn't stab their hometown in the kidneys. LeBron did. LeBron was in Cleveland. He wanted to be at home. He was at home. And then he basically called a national press conference to, it's just like it was just mean-spirited. What he did to Cleveland was mean-spirited, and I'm not letting it go. To me, it's defining. It's like if you walked up to me and told me, "Hey, you know what? Me and my wife got a divorce." Okay. If you then said, "Hey, you know what? I invited everybody we know to a restaurant, and then I told my wife when they were all there that I was divorcing her." Now you're a jerk. That's what he did. That's essentially what he did. He didn't. You want to leave Cleveland? Leave Cleveland. But don't call a national special, and it was so narcissistic. And this whole I'm going to make a donation to the Boys and Girls Club. Yeah. That's just somebody whispered that in your ear after several people realized how bad this would make you look. I just think LeBron he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. I just think that he's just so about himself. And also I guess part of me, I just consistently push back on the idea that he's even approaching Jordan. There's an entire Hall of Fame resume in the net difference between Jordan and LeBron. So anytime people get into this discussion about who's better, it's like, what? What are you 9? Did you not see Michael Jordan? Were you not here for that? I don't get it. And so people who get real, and that's just like a constant drumbeat of he's Jordan and LeBron, Jordan and LeBron. It's ridiculous. It's like arguing Secretariat versus Sham. It's not a debate worth having. So I push back on that. Luca Luna, too much meat, Larry. You're lazy. You're lazy. Shardal. Hey, Shardal. He says, "Hey, Larry, I'm going with the Golden State Warriors winning over the Lakers by a score of 150 to 100. 150? And Steph's going to drop 65 points, 10 rebounds, and 13 assists." Eric L. So Draymond Green to the Lakers next year and Dylan Brooks to the Warriors is my prediction. Oh, my God. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. Phil A.M. Dubs fan. What's the title of the background music for the Pig in a Pickle ad, Larry? It's funky. You know what? I don't know. I wish I knew. I'll go ask my tech guy after the end of the show because he put that together. All right. Should we go to the super chats? Because we got some good ones in there. Oh, here we go. Shannon. Braun is the GOAT, Larry. What? Everything that LeBron's accomplished, Jordan's accomplished more. So how do you figure? You're just basically saying that anybody who played yesterday is not as good as the people who played today. All right. This was the one I wanted to ask Damon about. Mauricio Dubon saying that he was mistreated by the Giants. What? You mistreated base running as a member of the Giants. That's why you're gone. You ran the bases like a double-A little leaguer. That's why you're not here. Blaming the Giants. Come on. You going to blame the Giants for Mauricio Dubon leaving? They didn't have to give him away, by the way. But I'm glad he's thriving in Houston. Smitty says, Larry, y'all gonna lose. I love that. Nate Dogg, what's up, Krug? Good luck with this series. Classy man. Nate Dogg, when Woodland. Gold-blooded. Easy to be a tough guy. This is towards Damon. Easy to be a tough guy when you get the mic and you're sitting in your room over a screen. Typical. I do love you, though, Larry. You were and still are more than a YouTube guy. Much respect. Yeah. Damon gets fired up. But, yeah, he's not going to come in here and tell me who to block and who's not. Come on. It's the Krueg show. Kapler is dead. Kapler wouldn't dare enjoy pig in a pickle. That was we should have like a imitate Gabe Kapler ordering at Pig in a Pickle. Yes, thank you. I'd like some brisket. Could you possibly cut off the fat? And I'd like it not on a bun. Is it possible you could put it in a lettuce wrap? And what's in your barbecue sauce? And can I get a diet root beer? And those fries, those chips, they're fried, right? Do you have any that are baked that are maybe, it's like, they'd be like, get out of here! Get out of here, Kapler! There's the door. Tell us how to make our brisket. That would be awesome, though. It would be, if anybody hasn't seen it yet, you have to go to NBC Sports Bay Area and watch Kapler sitting down with Pavlovich and Laura Britt talking Giants in the spring and food. It's epic Kapler. It's just, I can't even do it justice. I can't do it justice. You just trust me on this one. Go check it out and then come back and tell me what you think. Gold-blooded fish. I'll say it again. I'll invite Bad Boy Bruce here to the Blue Lot any day to have a face-to-face. You can come too. All right, now everybody's getting tough. Everybody's throwing hands. Come on. You serious? We're going to fight over stuff? Adrian, that soundtrack is dope, Larry. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Smitty, my balls in your forehead, resting, relaxing. You like that line from Damon, huh? You like the imagery. Nope. All the banners are covering the carpet walls. That's right. There you go. Would you rather have the carpet? The carpet is good for soundproofing, though, if you ever do your own studio. Carpet and pad. It's good for the soundproofing. Fish and chips. I'm in Larry's doghouse. I saw this one, and I had to put it up there. Fish and chips, I do have a doghouse, but you're not in it. You may have said things I don't agree with. You may have said things that maybe bug me. I can't recall. But you got to really do something significant to get in my doghouse. I've been doing this too long, man. My first radio show was like 1996, 95, somewhere in there. That's coming up on 30 years. As I said, I have a doghouse, but fish and chips, you're not in it. But you watch it, because you could be in it. Kapler wouldn't dare enjoy pig in a pickle. We gotta just put that on a scroll on the bottom of the show right there. Cap and his pig in a pickle. Woodcap, eat pig in a pickle. Smitty says Larry is an OG. Got a mention here of a Ponte. Not sure. Let's leave that poor guy alone. Brash Cat says a Ponte in the doghouse. No, I cleared it up. I haven't spoken to him, but I did text back and forth with Steph Sanchez. We're cool. I don't need, you know what? Here's the thing. I don't need people to kiss my ass. Just don't tell me I'm uninformed. Don't tell me I'm uninformed when I'm the most informed. Who's more informed? That's what I'd like to know. I'm not uninformed. Say that I'm too negative. Say I'm too opinionated. Say you don't agree with my stance that I thought they were going to trade Trey Lance. Whatever. But don't say I'm uninformed because it's just not accurate. And I'm all about accuracy. Okay. That's going to do it for our live stream today. What do we got going on the channel the rest of the day? Today is Tuesday, May the 2nd. By the way, go to the Krueg Show. Check out the videos. My son is grinding on these videos, and we're getting ridiculous traction on the videos. I did put a video out the other day about Joey Fisher. It has like 25,000 views or something. It's ridiculous. It's really, we're getting a lot of traction off the draft. And I expected it. I was hoping we'd get to 20,000 subs by the draft. We're not there. We're at 17 and change. But maybe we can get to 20,000 by camp. I'd like to be. I'd like to get us there. Very nice. How old is your son, Larry? He's a newborn. No, he's 21. 21. Great kid. Goes to Cal Poly. Smart kid, great kid. My oldest son. I've got 4 kids, by the way. A girl and then 3 boys. My buddy who's got all girls is like, dude, how did you get so many killers? How'd you get so many boys? What'd you do? I'm like, bro, what can I say? The coach told me back in the day, you want boys, you got to arch your back. That's what he said. Thought it seemed like TMI back then too. Joey Nichols says, say that Larry's Lance trade was fake news. Yeah, exactly. There's ways you can rip me, but you can't say I'm uninformed because I'm not uninformed. Fish and chips. I tried to be in Larry's corner when the other content creators were trying to split Larry's viewers. You know what? Let him try. Later on tonight on the show, Lakers-Warriors Game 1 tonight, 7 o'clock tip at Chase. Giants and Astros go at 5:10. Looking forward to watching that. My kid's playing baseball right now, so I'm going to go watch a little bit of that. Little go Northgate against Benicia. Can I get to Benicia and back? I don't know. We'll see. But my son Ben's playing today against Benicia, out in Benicia, so I'll be doing that. Anyway, that's what's coming up on the channel. We're going post-game tonight. Cyrus will be in the house. Cyrus Sotz is from Locked On. JD from 95.7. Frank Red, who I've known for 25 years. Carl Foster gets an invite tonight. Danny, Rye, Baller. It's going to be a cast of thousands. It'll be like Gandhi, like the remake of Gandhi. Just a few less people. But, yeah, we're going to have a hell of a time tonight. Probably around 10 we'll go live. Probably keep that thing going till midnight, talking about Game 1. So some of the Warrior post-game live streams are just phenomenal, at least if I in my opinion. And I'm kind of self-critical. All right, tomorrow on the channel, Wednesday, 9 a.m. in the morning, Grant Napier stops by. We'll get Grant's thoughts on Warriors-Kings and also on Game 1 of Warriors-Lakers. So I love my man Grant. I interned for him back in the early 90s. He's a friend for life. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., that's at 9. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., so we're going to go around 40 minutes or so with Grant. At 10 a.m., Matt Barrows is stopping by to recap the 49ers draft. If I had a vote to give for the best Niner content creator, I would vote for Matt Barrows. I would. I wouldn't vote for myself. I wouldn't vote for Grant. I wouldn't vote for Vish. I wouldn't vote for Jesse. I wouldn't vote for Croc. I wouldn't vote for any of the big dogs. I'd vote for Matt Barrows, who's the biggest of the big dogs. It does a great job. If you haven't already subscribed and ordered The Athletic, you should. Between Dave Lombardi and Matt Barrows, they both do an incredible job. Dave is sharp as it gets, and puts out a ton of great information. And Matt is, I think, as respected a media guy as there is in the Bay Area, regardless of sport. You know, he's just strikes a perfect tone between knowledgeable, perspective. He doesn't kiss ass to the team, but he's not there to rip the team to shreds. I just think Matt Barrows' content's phenomenal. So I sought him out, and we'll get his breakdown on the draft tomorrow at 10 a.m. At noon tomorrow, big day tomorrow, we're going to have Alex Barber on, the young kid from Texas who joined us, who's got his own YouTube channel and knows tons about the draft. It's funny, I was trying to book him the other day, and he's like, Krug, I can't do that time. I got a final. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm booking a kid who's in college. But, yeah, I don't care. This kid knows the draft like the back of his hand. He'll be there tomorrow at noon. Noon Pacific for Alex Barber. We'll get his breakdown on the draft. So that's coming up tomorrow night or tomorrow day. And then, of course, Giants game's going on tomorrow in the daytime as well. Also tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So if I'm not busy enough, 9 a.m. with Grant Napier, 10 a.m. with Matt Barrows, noon with Alex Barber. Then at 2 p.m., I'll be on the Breezy Extravaganza. Join me with Breezy on his channel. It's his turn this week. Thursday, Lakers-Warriors Game 2. And that's a 6 o'clock start Thursday night. So right around 9 o'clock, we'll come on after that one and break it down, do the whole deal. Also, went Thursday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the great Jordan Elliott is going to be by from Niners Nation. Another guy who's just awesome. I'm a huge Jordan Elliott fan. I don't know if you guys can tell when we have him on, but I just think that kid's super sharp. I think he's very thoroughly reasonable. I like him. I like him a lot, and I like his content. I like his written content. I like his appearances on our show. So he's really good. He'll be with us tomorrow or Thursday at 1. And then Thursday morning at 9 a.m., we are going to have one of, I won't tell you which one, but we're going to have one of the 49ers undrafted free agents on the show. I'm looking forward to that. We haven't had a lot of players on, but we're going to have a Niner. All I'll give you is it'll be one of their undrafted free agents. We'll stop by at 9 a.m. on my show Thursday morning. So check that out. Friday, we got Giants baseball at 7:15. Giants come home to face the Brewers. Vish is going to stop by. So Vish on Friday is going to stop by. And then Eric Froton is going to be in the house at 11 a.m. You say, who's Eric Froton? We've had him on a number of times. He's from NBC Sports. He also covers the draft. We'll get a draft review from Froton. So I know we haven't done a lot of draft review in the last day or two, but it's coming. Matt Barrows, Alex Barber, Jordan Elliott, Eric Froton, Vish Kumaran. It's all coming later on this week. And then Saturday, we've got Warriors-Lakers Game 3. That's a 5:30 start. We'll be doing a post-game Saturday. And then on Sunday, we will rest. I think I'll take my kid to a batting cage and help him become the hitter that I know he can be. All right, couple more chats before we bolt for the door. We got this one, the Rocky Mountain Razorback. Killing it, Larry. Thank you. G2, the universe. I don't always agree with Larry, but I agree a lot more than I don't. All right, there you go. Mark Gray says, give Kevin Krueger a raise, Larry. Mark, the kid has done such an incredible job. He's given himself a raise. I'm splitting all of the video revenue with the kid. The kid is suddenly, doing well, doing very well. Maybe too well. Brash Cat says the Krueg show should also mix in short videos as well. How short? How short do you want? I'll do. I think I did a video earlier today that was like 7 minutes. Is that not short enough? Would you like me to give you a couple Grant Cohn videos? Today is May the 5th or May the 2nd, and blah 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 blah, and then just out copy Grant altogether. Fish and Chip says Joey Fisher is popular also. Oh my God, I'm trying to get him on. I'm trying to get him on the show. That guy's just a beast. If he had longer arms, I'd feel very confident that Joey Fisher is the Niners' future starter at right tackle. But he's got kind of shorter arms, so maybe he's a center. Maybe he's a guard. We'll see, because his film he's dominating. Dominant. Eddie says, Larry, those watching and not subscribing are lazy. Lazy. Yeah, please hit like and subscribe. If you hit like, it helps the algorithm, help more people find the show. If you hit subscribe, you'll just get alerted every time we go live. Aussie Rules says, Cal Poly, slow or Pomona? Slow. Both great schools, though. Both phenomenal schools. Clarsard, 49. Good to see you, Clarsard. He says, so you're not lazy, Larry. Thank you. A lot of truth, 05, Larry. Who you got game one? I got the Warriors in 5. Warriors are going to win game 1. Warriors are going to win game 2. Warriors are going to win game 3. Warriors are going to lose game 4. Warriors are going to finish it in 5 at home. That's how I see it. Fish and Chips. If you want a boy, go upstream. Oh, man. Too much info. TMI. Mitchell and Ness, who sometimes is pro Krueg, but sometimes is anti Krueg. But do I block him? Nah. Why? Because I can take it. He says, I wish Larry would take the L better. Wait. I wish Larry would take his L better. That segment with Ryan was cringe. Just doubling down like a stubborn old head. No, I'm not doubling down. My prediction was in February when most people were saying that it was going to be Brock and Trey sharing the job. I said to everybody, I don't see it that way. I see the 49ers recommitting to Brock and trading Lance probably by the draft. That was the take. What has happened since then? They recommitted to Brock Purdy. They've shopped Trey Lance. According to Ian Rappaport, they will still wind up moving Trey Lance. I got the draft part wrong, but the rest of it's spot on. So sorry if I'm going to push back. I pay off all my bets. I'm taking Ryan to lunch, but at the end of the day, Ryan thinks Trey's going to be here long term. I'm basing it on, I don't have sources. I'm leaning on Ian Rappaport. Ian says he's moving. Maybe this summer. The real question is, what's Ryan going to tweet about when this happens for the rest of time? He's going to be absolutely silenced. Fish and Chips, I can probably go to sleep now. 0.17 and wake up and you'll still be streaming. That's good. Adrian Gutierrez, I vote for you, Larry. For what? Best content creator? I'm voting for Matt Barrows. So we don't see eye to eye. Mitchell and Ness, just for the hell of it. That young Montana is a fake user name that is impersonating the real one. Internet is sketchy. We're just figuring that out now. Dan Serrano, hit the like, fellas. Yeah, hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel. Helps everybody. Brash Cat, Jordan Elliott's really good. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. MF, Larry Kipe's comments on Dubon were interesting. What were they? Didn't hear it. I'm sorry, I don't catch every segment of Murph and Mac. Okay? I didn't listen to it when I was there, and nothing against those guys, but I'm a nighttime guy. I rarely get up that early. So, MF, jump back in the chat and tell me what he said. I'll say this about Dubon. You're a terrible base runner. You ran the bases like a child in Little League, and not a particularly good base running child. So now you're going to sit there and say you were mistreated? Why? Because people couldn't stomach your horrendous base running? Good. Dusty gave you a shot. You're doing well. God bless you. Don't say that somehow we blew it here. We didn't know the greatness of Dubon. You can't judge distance for shit. You were a terrible base runner. Those are the facts. Anything else is revisionist history. Brash cat. Larry is a boss. Mitchell and Ness. Not a fan of Elliott. Don't hate the guy personally. I just don't agree with a lot of his takes. And most of his predictions never happen. All right. Fair enough. Brash cat. Fisher. He got Fisher. Oh, no, I didn't get... No, it's not Fisher. Now I realize you're guessing who the Niner undrafted free agent. No, not Fisher. I'm trying for Fisher. A lot of truth 05. Larry killing the game. Fish and chips. Can't view everyone. Krueg and Bruce. Conan Crocker. And Jesse. All right. There you go. You got a few there. Bryant Shan. Larry's hustling. My man killing it. Thank you, bro. Brash Cat. The YT shorts. Like TikTok, Larry. I know. Oh, I know. Believe me, we're putting them out there. If you don't follow me, by the way, on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. My son puts out like condensed versions of the videos that I do on the IG, and they're absolutely fucking killing. I mean, they're getting like hundreds of thousands of views. I mean, seriously, we put out a Brock Purdy one a couple months ago that I'll look up 5 times a day because I get like notifications. There's still people chopping that thing up. Still people digesting that. It's got over 100,000 views. Joey Nichols says, I think he means TikTok style. Yeah, no, I get it. I know exactly what he means. Thanks, though. Thanks, though, Joey. Fish and chips. Larry, my memory is going. When was you on in the afternoon way back? Because I remember listening on the computer, and you was my late evening show. So, yeah, wow. Fish and chips. Now you're dating yourself. Came to KMBR in 97, was scouting with the Cardinals at the time, eventually left the Cardinals, got into radio full-time, started on the weekends. Then I did 7 to 10. Took over for Fitz, and I think Rich Herrera, and then did that. Had a brief little 9 to noon deal with Paulie, and then I was doing the nights, and then when I came back to KMBR in 2011, left KMBR in 05, came back in 2011. They paired me with Gary. After Gary and Damon didn't work out. And Gary and I did about a decade there. And we were that show was number 1. That was all Gary. I was just filling time. But Gary was a genius. And we did, I think, 10 or 11, 12 years, something like that. 2011 through 2022, 2021. I don't know. It all blends together. About a decade. We did about a decade. Together. And in between there, I did some stuff on satellite radio for Sirius XM. I worked at KGO. Now I'm working part-time at 95.7 The Game, and running this channel and having a lot of fun with you guys on a regular basis. Carlo P., yeah, I hear YouTube Shorts boost growth dramatically. Yeah, I mean, we did a YouTube short video the other day that got like 47 new subscribers off one video. I couldn't believe it. I was looking at the analytics. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Mitchell and Ness, I agree with a lot of Larry's takes with the Giants and the Warriors. Just the Purdy Lance thing is the main disagreement for me. I knew there was a reason I didn't block Mitchell and Ness. I felt like he had established, here's my thing. If you really hate me, I'll block you because I life's too short. But if it's just like you don't agree with me, and it doesn't get intensely personal. And I try to have a thick skin, but sometimes I can suffer. I won't say fools, but I can suffer disagreements better than others. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood for it. And if somebody gets super personal or super aggressive or super angry or you're a racist or just dumb shit like that, then it's it. You're gone. I'm sorry. Clarsard, we got our back always, Krug. Smitty. Larry, how'd you get drunk so fast? LOL. I'm probably not as much of I'm probably more of a lightweight drinker than I used to be. Man, I used to be able to drink on like Thursday night, Friday night, coming back, Saturday night, Sunday night. I mean, literally back to back to back to back and feeling great. Popping up out of bed, going to the gym, lifting a few plates, running. And now it's like, God, if I ever have a real night where I have a buddy comes to town, I tie one on, I'm out of commish for like 3 days. I am absolutely out of commish. Joey Nichols. Lance staying, Larry. We'll see about that. The guy who knows a little bit of something about it says he's going to get moved this summer. I'm not rooting for it. I'm just saying. I would have thought after the draft, on Saturday of the draft, that Ian Rappaport would have said, you know what? Looks like Trey Lance is going to be here. That's not what he said. He said Ian's wrong. All right. Okay. Guy only makes $1 million a year to be right. And then people will point to like one thing that the guy had wrong. He was wrong about Mac Jones. It's not that it's impossible that he could be wrong, but these guys make millions because they're right a lot. And do you think Ian is making that up? Or do you think somebody told him, Ian, this is the way it's going down? His reporting on Trey Lance has been oddly specific. Has it not? Isn't he kind of saying Trey Lance is going to be traded, but it's going to be a few months from now? And this latest one was like, it's going to be in August. We'll see. I'm not the guy sitting here going, he's got to go. I personally don't want to trade him unless we get some kind of serious great haul. Or personally, if you ask me, if it was up to me, I'd like to kind of, find out definitively if he's any good. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to find out if he's good. Find out if he can play. To me, it seems like very risky to trade him unless you have a great offer. But at this point, I don't even see who wants him. I mean, that's the other part of this. All these people think that Trey's great. Don't you think if Trey was great, they would have been able to move him, and if they've been shopping him? So either you don't believe they were shopping him, or you think that you think he's great, but everybody else in the league doesn't think he's great. Because nobody offered the Niners anything they wanted to take. We don't know what they were willing to take. So maybe they wanted 5 number ones. Who knows? Or maybe they wanted a 3rd-round pick, and everybody thinks Trey's not worth a 3rd-round pick. I mean, seriously, we don't really know any of the particulars about what the Niners were even seeking in return. And I always found it funny, too, because there were so many people who were like, he's not he's not going to be traded, he's going to be great. And then the next sentence, they'd be like, and they're not going to trade him because they're not going to get any good offers. Well, which is it? Is he going to be great? Or is he so bad that nobody's going to give him a good offer? G2 the universe. Larry was 100% correct on Purdy before the regular season even started. That seems like a distant memory. Bryant Chan, I mean, no one is batting 1,000. I mean, Larry killed it back in training camp last year by calling out Purdy could ball. I actually called that in minicamp. But only to Grant and a few others. Fish and chips. We don't know if Trey wasn't on the table. Nobody wanted him. It also looked like Brandon Ayuk was on the table. We won't know till whenever. Yeah, we may not know. We may not get the answers. Crypto says, I would like to see Trey Lance get a 5-game test before I go trading him. To me, it's like, if you want to trade him, I think I'd like to know why. And I'd like to know what it's based on. Is it because you think he's one-speeded, or you think he's not accurate, or you think he can't digest your offense, or you think you're going to have 2 different offenses? I mean, I'll say this. I haven't talked to Shanahan about it, but he has called 2 distinctly different types of games with, Garoppolo and Purdy as opposed to Trey. So is that the deal? Trey can't run your offense? I don't know what the deal is, but I'd like to find out the answer. Remix says, Dubon is a cornball. I got to use that a little bit more. Did I ever tell you my Mauricio story? We're doing FanFest. We're at a commercial break. And I'm like, Mauricio, how's it going, man? He had these like orange Jordans on. And I'm like, those are sweet kicks. Where'd you get those kicks? Oh, yeah, I love these Jordans. They're sweet. And then we start talking. And I'm like, you know, could you play baseball your whole life? Because you're from SAC, right? And he's like, oh, actually, baseball's not even my best sport. I said, what? I go, what is your best sport? He's like, soccer. So then I figured, he's not going to, is he really going to go with that? So then we come back from the commercial, and Rod and Tom are sitting there, and I'm like, guys, you're never going to believe what Mauricio Dubon just told us. He told me off the air, he says that baseball is not even his best sport. And then he doubled down with a crowd sitting there and Tommy and Rod sitting there. He's like, yeah, my best sport's really soccer. It's like, the kid he's confident. I will say that. I'll say that. He's very confident. We got this one from Louie. I miss G-Rad. Yeah. G-Rad was the man. MF. Larry, you have beef with Murph and Mac? Joking. No. Don't have beef with either of those guys. I'm sure it will play in some text to them. You should have heard what Krueg was saying. No. Good guys. Known them both for years. Salt of the earth human beings. Crypto King. Jordan Poole has bad balance. He is so inconsistent. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I really don't. But whoever paid him that contract, oh my God, that contract is just ridiculous. $35 million for Jordan Poole? Really? You couldn't pay GP2 $8 a year. So you had to let your best defensive player walk in the division to the Blazers, only to then give away your 7-footer 21-year-old to get him back. But you're going to give Jordan Poole $35 million a year, and he doesn't play any defense? Eric says, I thought you had to leave for your son's game. I know. I do. You're right. God, seriously. I'm sitting here jabbering. I'm missing the game. G2, the Universe Larry's knowledge on sports shined when he was on KMBR. When I saw he had a YT, I instantly subbed. Oh, a YouTube channel. I got you. All right. Chardal. Larry can easily down 5 or 6 beers, and then he would feel like shit by laying in bed all day like a couch potato. I used to be able to pile throw them back. Fish and chips. Larry loves chopping it up. Yeah, I do. Tommy Huxley, good to see you. He says, Poole is an ass. Come on, that's too far. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to all of you. Check us out after Warriors-Lakers. Go Warriors. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, get in hand.